There's a strength that doesn't come from muscles. It doesn't come from wealth, power, or status. It's a strength that lives in silence, deep within your soul, untouched by the storms of life. That strength is inner peace, the kind that no failure can break and no chaos can steal. But to find it, you must first learn one of life's greatest lessons. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. That truth is the heart of Stoicism, the ancient philosophy that teaches you how to stay calm in the middle of chaos, how to keep your soul steady when the world around you falls apart. This video is not just about being strong, it's about becoming unshakable. It's about learning to rise with discipline when your emotions scream for reaction. It's about finding peace, not in what you own, but in what you accept. So if you've ever felt lost, anxious, or powerless, this message is for you. Because through Stoicism, you'll learn that real power isn't about control, it's about mastery of the self. In this video, we'll walk the path of the Stoics, from Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus, and discover how they turned pain into wisdom, struggle into strength, and silence into victory. If you're ready to build a mind that no emotion can control, a heart that no storm can break, and a soul that stands firm in truth, then stay till the end. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Not because it's routine, but because this message might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Now, take a deep breath. This is where your transformation begins. This is how you build immense inner strength through Stoicism. Chapter 1. Control the mind, control the world. Everything begins in the mind. Every fear, every victory, every downfall. Your world, everything you experience, is filtered through your thoughts. The Stoics understood this truth long before psychology ever did. They believed that it's not what happens to you that disturbs you, but how you interpret it. And when you grasp that, life changes forever. You see, most people live as slaves, not to others, but to their emotions. They react to every word, every disappointment, every setback. Someone offends them, and their peace is gone. A plan fails, and their spirit collapses. But the one who controls their mind controls their life. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He faced betrayal, war, loss, and death, yet he remained calm. Not because he didn't feel pain, but because he refused to let pain rule him. That's the essence of Stoicism, emotional mastery. It's not denying emotion, it's directing it. It's standing firm when life demands you fall. It's learning to say, "This moment cannot break me. I will respond with wisdom, not weakness." When you control your thoughts, you reclaim your power. When you stop chasing control of the world and instead master the world within, you become invincible. So when anger rises, breathe. When fear whispers, stand still. When life throws pain your way, remind yourself, this too shall pass. Because what truly matters isn't the storm, it's how still your spirit remains in the middle of it. That's how you begin to build immense inner strength, by realizing the world outside will always shift, but your mind can remain anchored, calm, clear, and unbreakable. Control the mind, and you control the world. Chapter 2. Turning pain into power. Every soul that has ever walked this earth has met pain. The loss, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the silence that follows failure. Pain is the great equalizer. It visits kings and beggars alike. But here's the truth, the Stoics understood. pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Marcus Aurelius endured the weight of an empire, the death of his children, the betrayal of those closest to him, and yet he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That means every obstacle you face has a hidden gift. Every hardship holds a lesson designed to forge you into something greater. The pain you feel is not here to destroy you. It's here to shape you. When life hurts, you have two choices. You can collapse under it, or you can rise through it. You can curse the struggle, or you can let it build your spirit. The Stoic doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" The Stoic asks, "How can this strengthen me?" Because when you learn to use pain as fuel, when you learn to breathe through the fire instead of running from it, something sacred happens. Your heart stops breaking. It starts hardening into wisdom. Think about it. Every trial you've ever faced, every heartbreak, every disappointment brought you closer to understanding who you are. You didn't grow when life was easy. You grew when life forced you to. That's the beauty of Stoicism. It doesn't promise you a painless life. It teaches you how to walk through pain with dignity, to use suffering as a sculptor of your soul. So the next time life tests you, don't run. Don't hide. Don't fight against what you can't control. Look your pain in the eyes and say, "You will not break me. You will build me, because every scar carries a story, and every story of endurance carries power." Turn your pain into purpose. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Turn your suffering into strength. This is how the strong are made, not by avoiding pain, but by transforming it. Chapter 3. The Art of Letting Go. Finding Peace in Acceptance. One of the hardest lessons in life is learning to let go. We hold on to people, to pain, to things we thought would last forever. But what Stoicism teaches is simple. Peace begins the moment you accept what you cannot control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the secret. Most of our suffering doesn't come from what happens. It comes from our resistance to it. We fight against reality, and in that fight, we lose our peace. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours to hold. It means understanding that everything, every person, every season, every struggle has its time and purpose. The Stoic doesn't cling. They observe. They accept. They move forward with grace, knowing that life flows like a river, and you cannot hold the water and expect it to stay pure. So release what weighs you down. Forgive what hurt you. Bless what's behind you, and make peace with what is. Because the more you let go, the lighter your spirit becomes, and the closer you get to true freedom. Acceptance is not weakness. It's the highest form of strength. When you stop fighting against life, you finally learn how to live. Chapter 4. The Power of Discipline. Building Unbreakable Habits of the Mind. Discipline. It's the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to be. And in the Stoic path, discipline is not about control over others. It's about control over yourself. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom is not doing whatever you feel. It's doing what is right, even when you don't feel like it. Every time you wake up and choose discipline over comfort, you are training your mind to obey your purpose, not your emotions. Every small act of self-control, rising early, thinking before reacting, staying calm in chaos, is a quiet victory that strengthens the soul. Marcus Aurelius didn't rise each day as an emperor. He rose as a servant to discipline. He wrote, "Greater than at dawn, When you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. He understood that strength isn't built in comfort, it's built in consistency. Stoicism teaches that your habits shape your destiny, and if your mind is disciplined, your life will follow. Discipline is how you win the invisible battles, the ones no one sees. It's how you choose peace over anger, patience over impulse, growth over pleasure. Because real power is not in conquering the world, it's in conquering yourself. So train your mind daily, guard your thoughts, do what strengthens your character, not what feeds your comfort. And soon, discipline won't feel like sacrifice. It'll feel like freedom. This is how the Stoic builds unbreakable strength, by mastering the mind, one disciplined choice at a time. Chapter 5. Silence and Solitude. The hidden strength of stillness. There is a kind of power that cannot be seen, a kind of strength that makes no noise, and yet it moves mountains inside the soul. That power is stillness. In a world that never stops talking, where everyone is rushing, reacting, proving, the Stoic finds strength in the opposite: silence and solitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." To the Stoics, solitude was not loneliness. It was communion with clarity. They knew that silence is not empty. It's full of answers. When you sit in silence, you begin to see the truth that noise hides. You start to notice your thoughts, your patterns, your pain, and beyond them, you discover something more powerful: awareness. That awareness is where transformation begins. It's where you realize you are not your anger, not your fears, not your failures. You are the one observing them. But here's the challenge. Most people are terrified of being alone with their thoughts. They run from silence because silence reveals the truth. It shows you what you've been avoiding. It confronts you with who you've become. But that confrontation is sacred, because what you face in silence, you heal in silence. The Stoic understands that solitude is not isolation, it's alignment. It's where you connect with your higher self, where you hear the whispers of wisdom that the noise of the world drowns out. In solitude, you remember what truly matters. You remember that peace is not something you find in others. It's something you build within. When you can be calm in silence, when you can sit alone and feel complete, when you no longer seek validation from the outside world, that's when you become unshakable. Because now, your strength no longer depends on applause. It comes from presence, from balance, from being so grounded in who you are that nothing outside of you can disturb it. The world teaches you to chase noise, to be louder, faster, constantly connected. But Stoicism teaches the opposite truth, that your power grows in stillness, that peace is found not in motion, but in meaning. That silence is not weakness. It's where you meet the voice of God within. So make time to be alone, not to escape the world, but to return to yourself. Turn off the noise, breathe deeply, and listen. The answers you've been searching for are waiting in the quiet. In silence, the mind becomes clear. In solitude, the heart becomes whole. And in stillness, the soul becomes strong. That is the hidden strength of Stoicism, to be unmoved in the storm and at peace in the silence. Chapter 6. Faith, Purpose, and the Divine Order, Trusting the Process of Life. There comes a point in every journey where you realize you are not in control of everything. No matter how disciplined, how wise, or how strong you become, life will still move in ways you don't expect. And that's when you learn one of the greatest truths of Stoicism: to trust the divine order of life. The Stoics believed that everything happens for a reason, that behind every event, whether joyful or painful, there is purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This isn't about blind belief. It's about faith in wisdom bigger than your own. It's about understanding that even your setbacks are part of something sacred, that the challenges you face are not punishments, but preparation. When you walk through pain, faith whispers, "This is not the end. It's the shaping." When doors close, purpose reminds you, you were never meant to stay there. And when you feel lost, trust tells you, you are being led, not abandoned. Stoicism meets faith in this truth. Everything you go through is building who you're meant to become. There is a reason for your waiting, a meaning in your silence, a purpose in your pain. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." That's not surrender. That's strength. It's the ability to stand in the middle of uncertainty and still say, "I may not understand this now, but I trust that it's for my good." Every great soul that ever walked this earth understood that faith and purpose are what hold the heart steady. They knew that what seems like chaos today often turns out to be divine order tomorrow. God does not waste pain. He uses it to awaken what's eternal in you. He breaks what's temporary so he can rebuild what's true. So if life feels uncertain, if the path ahead seems dark, don't panic. Trust the process. The very storm that confuses you today is guiding you toward clarity, and the struggle that humbles you is preparing you for the strength you prayed for. The Stoic learns to rest in faith, to believe that even in pain, there is purpose. Even in silence, there is progress. And even in loss, there is divine love working behind the scenes. When you stop fighting life and start trusting it, you discover peace beyond understanding. Have faith in the journey. Trust the timing of God, and know that everything meant for you will find you in its perfect time, in its perfect way. Chapter 7. Becoming unshakable. Living with inner peace and purpose. There comes a moment when you stop chasing strength and start embodying it. When you no longer seek peace from the world because you've found it within yourself. That moment is when you become unshakable. The Stoics believed that life's purpose wasn't to escape challenges, but to meet them with grace, wisdom, and courage. They knew that strength isn't loud, it's calm. It's the quiet confidence that says, no matter what happens, I will remain true to who I am. When your mind is disciplined, your heart pure, and your faith strong, you stop being controlled by circumstances. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer fear the storm, you become the calm within it. To be unshakable is not to be without emotion, but to be so rooted in truth that emotion no longer rules you. It is to walk through chaos without losing your clarity, to face pain without losing your compassion, to stand alone and still feel complete. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That's the essence of Stoic strength, knowing that peace is always a choice. No matter what the world takes from you, no one can take your response, your integrity, or your inner calm. To become unshakable, you must live with purpose. You must rise each day with gratitude, serve with love, and walk with faith. The Stoic doesn't live for applause. They live for alignment. They move not with fear, but with conviction that every breath, every choice, every act of virtue leaves a ripple in eternity. Be unshakable in your peace. Be unshakable in your faith. Be unshakable in your purpose. Because the world will test you, but it cannot defeat you if you've learned to master yourself. This is what Stoicism teaches, not to escape the storm, but to stand still in the rain and know the storm will pass. To trust that no matter how dark the night becomes, the light within you will always rise again. You were never meant to be fragile. You were meant to be forged. You were never meant to live in fear. You were meant to live in faith. When your mind is steady, your soul is still, and your heart aligned with purpose, you become unshakable. This is the way of the Stoics. This is the path to inner strength. And this is how you rise beyond everything that was meant to break you. Subscribe, like, and share this message, because someone, somewhere, is still searching for this kind of peace.